for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So let me get this recording started here, and then we can jump into things.
Got one more. I don't know if you brought Lonely Island up here. He's
Yeah,
also on the team.
yeah,
Okay,
he's up
cool.
here.
Oh, hey guys, sorry I was muted there.
No worries.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Good afternoon, Whale Coin Talk community. My name is Noah. I'm here with the Survivor Protocol team. Before we get started, gentlemen, do you want to give us a quick intro of who you are, how you got to be in the crypto space, and what you're building?
Yeah, sure. I'll get started. I'm Lonely Island. I'm the head marketer on the team. Catch me in the Discord and our Twitter, our Telegram. I hook up all the content we're doing together, set up the AMAs. This is our third AMA of the morning, number 20 on our AMA circuit leading up to the presale. So we've had a pretty wild run, a little exhausted, ready to take a little break, but pre-sales tomorrow, so we had to grind to the finish line. I've been in crypto since 2018. Got really into it last year with DeFi. We kind of put this team together, found each other, wanted to start a project. We're able to find a really solid dev team, and now we're able to kind of bring Survivor to market. We're excited to talk about it here with you guys today, and hopefully look forward to getting some new eyes on it.
Sweet. And Lonely Island, did you want to give a quick intro of who you are?
Yeah, so that was Lonely. I am the
Survivor.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I been on the team as long as Lonely. We've been talking DeFi together though for I don't know, maybe a year at least. We all kind of came together, just sharing ideas, trades, different projects we thought were interesting. But I've been in crypto since like late 2019. Pretty excited to get this project out there. It's the first one I've actually, worked on just specifically to launch. I've done a little Discord modding, things like that, but nothing I can put my name on. So pretty excited to get out there and talk to you guys about it.
Sweet. And gentlemen, tell us how you're bringing game theory and DeFi into one package. Like what components of your ecosystem tie in game theory, and how exactly is it going to work?
Yeah, so we're excited. It's a new concept. It's self-governing APY. It's essentially giving the user the ability to kind of control how they earn. Survivor Protocol took a lot of inspiration from the auto staking season that just had the Titano and Seifu forks. So when we saw those come together, we as a team decided we wanted to do something to tweak them because we saw some issues with them. Uh, the race to the higher APY was just a little bit too much. You saw a lot of those projects start at 100,000%. They gradually increased to 300, 500, 900. I think a couple were over a million, maybe even one or two over 2 million. So we just realized it was unsustainable, and we started kicking this idea around. Where like, how do you make that APY decrease to lower emissions and inflation? So our dev was able to come up with some new code. We weren't able to fork either of them to implement this. So the code is all built from scratch. And what we have is self-governing APY. So in Survivor, you'll essentially start in a tier 10. And if you sell our native HP health token, your APY gets cut in half. It goes from 400,000 to 200,000. Then you're in tier 9. If you sell again, you go to tier 8, becomes 100,000. And so on, all the way down to tier number 1, which I think bottoms out at 781%. So this brings strategy into the game theory. You have to kind of pick and choose when you want to sell, because when you do sell that token, whether it be one, half, or all of your bag, there's no regaining a tier. So if you're in tier 9, there's no going back to tier 10. Now, another thing we wanted to do was find a way for people to be able to take profit without losing that tier. So we have what's called the Ration Pool. The Ration Pool pays you out weekly in BUSD rewards as long as you've held your tier for an entire week. So from Sunday to Sunday, if you don't sell any HP token, you will get a cut of the Ration Pool dependent on your team in the percentage of the HP you hold in that Ration Pool. So tier 10 collects 50% of the Ration Pool. If you hold 5% of the HP in that Ration Pool, you're going to get airdropped that amount in BUSD. So you're getting a stable coin reward weekly. So those are the two big factors. One thing to mention is that Ration Pool, the tiers do have as well as you sell. So if you go down to a tier 9, you're only eligible for 25% of the Ration Pool. If you're in tier 8, it's 12.5, halved all the way down to tier 1. So a third thing we're bringing into this is a jackpot. So the jackpot is going to be funded with 5% of the pre-sale raise and 1% of the buy and sell taxes after the project starts. So if we hit our hard cap, the jackpot will start at 6 figures, $100,000. With good volume, we anticipate this jackpot to keep increasing and could see several hundred thousand, maybe even more. We're not going to speculate, but we do think it's a pretty cool thing. So, if you see that jackpot growing and growing, we think it's going to bring a lot of eyes to the project and people may FOMO in. The jackpot gets paid out every 90 days. You have to remain in tier 10 to be eligible to claim your reward, and you have to hold a minimum of $250 worth of HP. That's calculated when you buy in. So if you buy $250 worth and the HP token goes down, you're still eligible for that jackpot. So there's a lot of strategy here at play. So like for the jackpot, if you're stuck in tier 10 at 90 days and you're rebasing at that 400,000% APY, it's going to be hard not to take some profit. It becomes kind of a psychological game. Do you hold out for the jackpot, or are you going to take profit along the way? With the Ration Pool, tier 10 is going to be diluted to start. So you may sell down one wallet to get into a lower Ration Pool and be able to claim a higher amount of BUSD rewards for a couple weeks. So we're really interested to see how this new system plays out, how people strategize and play the game. We think that's one of the more fun aspects of it, kind of not knowing how it's going to play out. But we do think it's a system to kind of lower emissions, decrease inflation, and hopefully sustain longer than a lot of the other auto staking projects could do.
Okay, so very interesting. A few questions from me to start. One, you said that everyone begins at tier 10. Is this everyone that has participated in your pre-sale, private sale, seed rounds?
So that's for anyone. If you buy in, you're at a tier 10. If you do buy in at the pre-sale, you of course avoid buy taxes. If you get in after pre-sale, you're going to have a 17% buy tax to start any wallet. But everyone starts in tier 10 at that 400,000% APY, and the APY decreases with each sell. Once you lose that tier, there's no going back up the tier. So if you're a tier 9, you're never getting back to a tier 10.
So even if I sold one token or sold 1,000 tokens, I'm still going down a tier?
Correct. If you sell one, half, or the whole thing, you're going down a tier. So you really want to be aware of when you're selling. One other thing I might want to add is we were very careful to make sure there's no ways to manipulate this game. So if you do buy in at the pre-sale or even after pre-sale with a new wallet, say you're on mobile and you want to move to a ledger, you're able to transfer only from a tier 10 to another tier 10 wallet, and it has to be your entire amount. The reason we do that is we wouldn't want someone to transfer half of their HP to a tier 10 wallet, and then instead of selling, they can just keep transferring to a new wallet. So if you're in tier 9 or if you sell any HP, you're no longer able to transfer out of that wallet. So we do want to make people aware of that feature of the game.
So only tier 10 wallets are transferable. Only tier 10 or only tokens held in tier 10 wallets are transferable.
Correct, but it has to be the entire amount to a fresh tier 10 wallet that hasn't sold any HP. This is mostly to get from mobile to like a ledger to make sure you're able to secure your funds from a hot to a cold wallet.
And you said that every time we go down a tier, the API actually goes up?
No, it halves. So
it halves.
You're at 400,000 to start, then it goes down to 200,000 in tier 9, then 100,000 in tier 8. So there's still good APY in some of these tiers. Once you get below like a tier 7 or 6, it obviously becomes less attractive. And I don't see too many wallets getting that low. But if you go down to tier 9, you're still collecting 200,000% APY. Tier 8's 100,000%. That's still an attractive number for people. So we think it's a good way to balance it out. It does allow for people to take some profit and not feel like they just can't earn at all.
And you said the BUSD rewards are paid out every week?
Correct. It's Sunday at 12 UTC to Sunday 12 UTC, but you cannot sell during that week. So if you sell, you're disqualified from collecting the BUSD rewards that week. So it's really a project that does incentivize holding. We're really kind of focusing around ways to make it so holders get rewarded. It discourages from pump and dumps. We have some higher sell taxes in the first 2 weeks. Week 1, there's a 33% sell tax. Week 2, there's a 28% sell tax. Week 3 forward, it's 21%. We did get a little pushback on this, but then we realized the people pushing back are the ones that just want to get in and out quick, take profit off that initial pump, and then exit the project. So people that believe in this project like what we're doing, and they like that those sell taxes are a little higher because it's to sustain the project, keep the game going, and hopefully make us last a little longer than the first week, like you see happen to a lot of projects.
With the sell tax, is there a bottom that it caps out at?
Yes, 21%. Once we hit week 3, it's 21% throughout. Buy tax is fixed at 17% throughout the entire project.
Understood. And with the jackpot, you said that we need to hold a minimum of $250 worth of HP to be eligible.
Correct.
I'm assuming that. Go ahead.
No, you can finish your question.
I was going to say, I'm assuming that the statistical likelihood of a holder winning the jackpot will scale higher with the amount of actual HP tokens they held.
Correct. So if you go to our website, you can go to our mediums. We have a whole article on the jackpot. There's tiers in the jackpot as well. There's values of 250, 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, 7,500, and 10,000. So everything's weighted. So if you're at that lower 250 tier, you're only eligible for that tier gets 2.5% of the jackpot. If you're someone that holds 10,000 worth of HP, you're eligible for 30% of the jackpot payout at the end. So again, back to the psychology of it, I think a lot of people, especially the people that hold more money, it's going to be hard for them to hold for 90 days without taking profit if you're still at that tier 10, 400,000% APY. So I think there's an argument to be made that like at the lower tier where it's a $250 buy-in, I think there's going to be a lot of people left in that jackpot. But I think as we go towards the higher holdings and the higher tiers, there's probably going to be very few people left in the jackpot at the end. So we're really interesting to see how that plays out. It could be, 5 or 6 people getting a really big payout at the end. And we do think it's going to at least be a couple 100,000. It's good volume.
I think the game theory design that you guys have set up really, really correlates well with the theme, the survivor protocol theme, kind of last man standing.
Yep.
Could you break down the ration pool a bit more for me? I didn't quite wrap my head around that.
Yeah. So the ration pool is tiered as well. So tier 10 gets 50% of the ration pool. So the ration pool is funded by taxes. It's I think it's 3% of sells go to the ration pool and 2% of buys, and it keeps gaining with that sell. So more volume puts more money into the ration pool. So each week with the people that are eligible for it, you'll get airdropped BUSD, which corresponds to the amount of HP you hold. So if you hold 5% of one ration pool, you'll get 5% of the HP allotted to that ration pool. So we wanted to find a way to give a stable coin for people instead of having to sell the native token. So in these other auto staking projects, people were only selling the native token, and that when they take rebases, and that just drives the price down. Mm-hmm. So again, just another measure to hopefully sustain price a little better.
Got it. And you guys are about to undergo pre-sale, you said?
Yes. So you guys are our final AMA. Saving the best for last, we hope. Our pre-sale is tomorrow at 2 p.m. UTC on our website, survivorprotocol.com. You can buy in with BUSD.
So tell me this. Did you guys have a seed round and a private sale as well?
No seed round, no private sale. We've just been marketing like crazy, AMAs nonstop, done a lot of giveaways. A lot of influencers helping us out, a lot of videos on YouTube. We just felt like trying to organically market was the best way. since it is a game, we kind of wanted to keep everyone on equal footing. We're kind of pushing that the benefit is the pre-sale. You avoid that buy tax. But, we wanted to make sure everyone's kind of on the same ground when they start and they play this game. We're treating it as a game more than an investment. It's really
so
a
nobody's
game and
holding any
strategy.
tokens right now.
No one's holding tokens, correct.
Amazing. I like that. What's going to be the minimum and maximum contribution per wallet?
Yeah, so there's a $20 BUSD buy-in minimum, and there's a 20,000 BUSD max buy. There's no cap on how many wallets you can use.
No cap on how many wallets. Got you. And for those wondering, what happens once the maximum supply has been minted?
So it's an elastic supply. It starts at 500,000 and it keeps growing. We do have a burn wallet, like you see in some of the other auto staking projects, as a deflationary tool. But yeah, I mean, supply does keep growing.
And what would you say? What would you say is how are you guys going to sustain this APY for a long period of time, right? I mean, these things usually have a lot of hype in the beginning, and ultimately, just most of these tokens come crashing down.
Yeah, that's a good question. Especially you see with the auto staking protocols, there's a couple of issues. The emissions get too high, and people, they sell rebases, or the market goes down, people want to get out. What happens is the price just, it starts to crater, and it's almost impossible to recover. We wanted to do things a little differently. So there's really two key points there. And the first is the self-governing APY. The way that works, kind of in a nutshell, is, if price is going up, which we all hope it is, people will eventually get to a price that they want to sell at. We totally understand that. So people will sell, they will have their emissions cut. That's kind of how the self-governing APY works, is you control, what percentage you want to take, what price is okay for you to take profit at. And when we hit that kind of price, people will naturally take profit. So we understand not everyone's going to hold forever, but if you do hold, we want to reward you. We want to let you be able to take profit without, harming the protocol or adding too much sell pressure. So that's when the BUSD rewards come in. If you're getting a weekly payout and your profit, you can take profit that way. We think that's a pretty attractive way to kind of limit a ton of the sell pressure that kills, other auto staking protocols. So, between less sell pressure there, more people taking BUSD rewards instead of selling the native token, and people just naturally will take their profits eventually. We think we'll find a happy medium where the emissions stay at a relatively sustainable level compared to other projects where they just stay at a fixed, really high level forever.
Agreed. How are you guys utilizing your treasury?
So we have a couple different treasuries. There's really like the community-owned treasury. We're calling that our Lifeline wallet. What that is if you're familiar with the auto staking protocols, there's a wallet that's typically used for buybacks and burns. That wallet's funded through taxes. What we wanted to do is, if we have good volume, especially the first couple of weeks to a month, we hope we won't have to do really many buybacks and burns. So ideally, we'd like to take some of those funds and invest them. Whether that's doing partnerships with other protocols, whether that's investing in like stablecoin farming, relatively stable things that in a market like this, we think we could generate, even if it's a small return. We can then kick back to the Ration Pool and kind of reward holders. It's definitely important to generate an outside source of revenue, so everything isn't just funded internally by the protocol. So we'd really like to use that wallet specifically like as an investment vehicle rather than just a buyback and burn wallet. But of course, if we take a big sell or something, we want to stabilize the price, then yeah, we can use it as buyback and burn. And then we also have a treasury wallet, which is kind of at the team's discretion. The reason we have that is we launched a medium last night about how we'd like to kind of in the future run a sort of a launch pad in the sense that we want to help, other DeFi projects that, may need sort of like a consulting help. For example, like we have a really talented web guy he can help projects, that may not have a web guy set up, all of the things that you would need, DDoS protection, all that kind of stuff. Maybe, do project audits. We have a really talented dev that would be happy to do stuff like that. And that's kind of another way that we would be able to generate some outside revenue and kind of return some of the money that we get from those proceeds back to our holders.
Understood. And I'm curious to know what kind of yield farming strategy. So one thing I like about Olympus DAO, for example, which a lot of people refer back to Titano, but Olympus DAO was the first to really start this like multiple figure APY into the millions rather. But they use their treasury for a number of things, like investing in stable coins, blue chip projects, exploring yield farming opportunities, and would love to hear you expand more upon what kind of ideas you have with respect to utilizing your treasury and actually growing it and using it as a safety net for the rest of your ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, Ohm is really like the first one, that first rebasing token, and they took just like such an interesting approach to like protocol and liquidity and their bond mechanisms. Obviously all the auto staking projects after that have taken a lot from them.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first DeFi projects I got really into. I always thought that was a super interesting concept.
Same.
But yeah, so we would love to be able to do those kind of things. We don't want to get up here and promise that we can get return crazy rewards to our holders or give you an extra percentage, like something unreasonable. We understand it's a bear market. We would really focus, especially early on, like you said, stablecoin farming, low reward stuff, but things that we think are safe. We wouldn't want to invest in something, like Luna and then lose money. But what's good is we have a couple of really talented like DeFi guys on the team. They follow the charts. They do a lot of great TA. So they're pretty in tune with kind of where the market's going. And we're pretty confident, if we see some strength in the market, we'll be able to identify maybe a couple projects that we'd like to invest in. And, hopefully when we get through this bear market, we can get a good return on that. But, for now, strategies would be pretty basic stuff, stablecoin farming, LP stuff, just things that are safe.
Yeah, of course.
Pure degen plays to start.
No, I support that. And I think having a healthy treasury is really important for any project. It gives you a safety net. I want to get to audience questions here in a moment. I'm curious to know, I might have a couple more for you, but I'm curious to know if there's anything that I've maybe skipped over or haven't asked about that you guys wanted to share with our community. I
think one thing that, usually they lead with this, so it's a little refreshing not to get it first. We did do a KYC. Three of six of our team members did a KYC with Assure DeFi. We just had our audit completed with Solid Proof. That's available to read on our website. We actually have a full project audit coming from someone else, but it's not going to be out until after launch that we're excited to announce. We'll have liquidity locked for a year. Survivor, do you remember where we're locking? It's like Team Finance?
Yeah, we're doing it via Team Finance. We actually have a Medium article that lists out kind of all the security measures. It has all of our multi-sigs and the addresses themselves. So if you are interested, go check that out. You can verify on chain where all the funds are, the different wallets, everything like that. And we'll set up some Discord bots that kind of track the prices of all those things and what's in them. So you can see, hey, we're injecting X amount of liquidity this week, or, the lifeline is at X amount, or the BUSD payout is X amount. And you'll be able to verify all that on chain.
Sweet. Guys, what's the reason behind having a 20,000 BUSD max wallet contribution? Isn't that kind of scary for people who don't have that much money, where you have whales coming in, buying up a big amount, and hopefully your project does well, and then subsequent massive dumps?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take that one. Look, we understand that there's no way to really prevent that from happening. You can do a max buy, but then they can just get around it with multiple wallets. And
Mhm.
whales, if you have a ton of money, you'll be able to run bots or pay someone to build you a bot that you can just get around these things. So that's kind of why our approach is, instead of, hey, let's completely stop these people from doing that, we'll let them do that. We'll max it at 20, and then we'll juice the taxes the first couple weeks. We're pretty aware of the fact that a lot of people would like to buy into pre-sales and sell and just get out. So, being aware of that, we wanted to make sure that if people are going to do that, then we're going to get some kind of revenue from that, and we're going to kick that back to our holders. So, like the first week, we're juicing the Ration Pool to like 7% from the taxes. So, 7% of all of the volume we do that first week is going immediately back to anybody in a tier 10 wallet that's holding. We think that's pretty attractive. We're juicing the jackpot a little extra. So if we have good volume kind of off the bat, we think we'll offset these sales by, the people that do believe in the project, that want to play the game, they'll see these numbers coming in, if we have strong volume. And we think that will encourage people to hold for sure. But, to your point, we will have strong liquidity off the bat. We're putting 30% immediately into liquidity. And I forget the exact percentage a week, but I want to say it's around like 4% of all of the volume is immediately sent to liquidity. So if we have a good couple of weeks volume wise, we will have hopefully over $1 million in liquidity. We think for a project of our size, having that off the bat helps a ton, just stabilizing the price. We don't want anything super crazy volatile. I think in a bear market, that's a little sketchy to people. So we want to have something stable. And so those are just a couple of the measures we're kind of taking to combat the whale issue.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, gentlemen, I think this is a really fun experiment. I'm probably gonna do a little punt myself and see if I can, hold out in tier 10 all the way through and get a chance at winning that jackpot. I want to give our community members some time here to ask questions. So let's start with Aisha and then we'll move down.
Thank you, Noah. So it's mentioned on your Medium page that buying up until day 60 will enter investors into jackpot for survival season 1. With investors getting in early will earn more points, and after day 60 there will be season 2 jackpot. I want to know that for season 2 jackpot, do users have to buy HP token again to enter the jackpot, or previous holders who already holding and had earned points for jackpot season 1 will also be included in season 2?
No, that's a really good question. Yeah, so as long as you're in a tier 10 after the first jackpot, you will remain in the second jackpot. So from day 61 to 90 is the cutoff. You can't get in the first jackpot up till day 60. We don't want someone to get in at day like 89 and think they can get a piece of the jackpot. So from day 61 to 90, if you buy into the protocol with some HP, you're then qualifying for the second jackpot. But I mean, I think one concern some people had was, well, what if I win the jackpot? Then I'm just going to sell off all my HP tokens. Well, I would argue that if people win the jackpot, and we don't know how many people will be there at the finish line, but if you win this massive jackpot and it outweighs what you could have earned, you may say, hey, this jackpot the second time around could be just as big. I'm just going to stay in tier 10 again and hold out to the next one. So yeah, if you, as long as you're in tier 10, you're eligible for every jackpot, the first, second, third. Once you get out of tier 10, you're no longer qualified for any jackpot.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for answering.
No, thank you for the question.
Say it. Let's go with you next.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. Okay, so I was going through your Medium page and it's mentioned that the Survivor protocol is not a DAO, and you think that there are several issues with the DAO at this point in the DeFi, and the DAO structure will prevent your team from moving fast. So I want to understand that why do you think that DAO may slow down your progress in the long term?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things with the DAOs. If you've been involved in DeFi for a while, and I've invested in several, and so I'll just speak from personal experience. the DAO model, it can definitely hinder a team with a strong vision. So like if you're crowdsourcing all of your ideas or you require votes to like to make any changes to the protocol, things like that, I think it can definitely slow things down. And in DeFi, I think we all know you need to move quickly. The space changes really rapidly. We have a great development team, so we want to be able to, you know, in the future, if we need to pivot or make changes to the protocol, we want to be able to do that. You know, we're definitely open to community feedback. We don't want to make it sound like we don't take, you know, what our community has to say to heart. We definitely do. But, you know, been working on this project for several months. Our team has a pretty strong vision and we think we'll be able to execute it really well. So we want to try and, you know, do that first, kind of nail what we're able to do. And then, you know, maybe down the line we consider something like that. But, you know, just off the bat, we'd like to, you know, stick to our vision. And, but, you know, if our community has feedback, we're always open to it. Our Discord's open. You know, let us know your thoughts and we'll definitely take it into account.
Got it. It's totally understandable. And thank you for explaining that. Over to you, Noah.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the question.
Cool. That brings us to the end of the AMA. Really quick, one last question for me. I do see that you guys, as you've mentioned, have multiple treasuries and each of one serves a different function. Curious to know how you guys are securing those treasuries. How many people own the keys to those wallet? And is it going to be a multi-sig feature where maybe 4 or 5 of you have to sign off on them before anyone can transfer funds in and out?
Yeah, so
that's right.
everything is on a multi-sig. We have all 6 of our core members on it. It requires 3 signs. I think the only one that is not multi-sig is the auto liquidity injection, just because we don't want to have to, you know, find people to sign for that. That's automatic. But you can go to our Medium. We put out another security Medium that shows all of our addresses. Everything's on chain. You can track everything we do. We're going to be very transparent. So we want people to feel safe.
Right on. And community members, I would suggest going and checking out their Medium page. They're very detailed and they've published pretty much every step of the way since their journey began. Survivor, Lonely Island, I want to thank you all for being with us today. I really enjoyed the AMA. I like this new take on high APY project, and I'm curious to see where it ends up down the line.
Yeah, can I just add one thing? We have what's called tribal leader roles. So if you jump into our socials, our Discord, our Telegram, and we find you very active in kind of promoting the project, we're giving out these roles that give boosted APY to start. So instead of starting at 400,000, you would start at 500,000. We'd love to give some away to your community for hosting this. Noah, I don't know if you had any way you would maybe want to give some out. I don't know if you do like a role or if people want to jump in our Discord and somehow say they listened in, we'd be happy to do it. But if you had anything in mind, we'd love to give something back to the community here.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And we'll collect some wallets and send them over your way in that shared chat we're in.
Perfect. Yeah, and so we'd encourage everyone, get in the Discord, get in our Telegram. Look forward to talking with anyone. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We think it's a really good idea. We're first to market it. We hope that's a strong point of the project, and we look forward to speaking with you guys again.
All right. Thank you, guys. And look forward to seeing you guys back on in the future. Tell us about your project. Whale Coin Talk community. Remember that we are an educational channel. We do not give financial advice. Always invest what you're willing to lose. And with that said, definitely go and check out Survivor Protocol. Super cool and different take on the way these projects are typically done. So thank you for being with us today, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Noah.
Thank you.